This video is about what is apparent, a parent, and how it doesn't always work in my favor when it comes to social status, dating, etc. It is about murking, meaning killing and taken away from. Okay, it is about focused intensity, which is where I'll start. True intensity comes from truth, not denial or ill-gotten gains or living in some kind of trance-like state. The mind is aware of it to some degree. And if it wasn't, it wouldn't be the same thing. And the more you try to make it the same thing, the more you're living some kind of virtual reality or some kind of technology version of martial arts, which isn't true martial arts, and the less applicable it is. One must focus on the morality to have focused intensity. And then they can overcome even the most aggressive, big, and dangerous opponents. Who's more right than who? Who is better than who, right? Based on a moral scale. This comes out in martial arts. A moral scale to determine who is sane. And not a corporate scale. Corporate partnerships, shipmates, mating, eugenics. The corporate guys were the eugenicists, not just the industrialists, right? Assign it the proper terms for people who need it spilled out because they're in denial, because they're stupid, because they're complicit, and they're scrambling to pretend that you're wrong. Focused intensity versus dull and confused. What is an airhead, really? How close is a woman to an airhead if she rejects people like me for corporate filth? I don't care if you're in their corporate network or not. I don't care if your father is the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. I don't care if your brother is dating some corporate slut. It doesn't matter if you're in the corporate network or not. You're still dull and confused to do it their way. And of course, the American way is really the corporate partner way. It's a mix of corporations on the right and corporations on the left, and they make some kind of phony, superficial middle movement. How confused you are takes away from your ability to focus, and certainly with intensity. If you're confused and you're upset, it is a walk in the park for me to outmaneuver you and strike you effectively, okay? Even in this reduced state. Even in this state where they've messed up my eyes and caused me eye problems. Where they try to murk my appearance by spraying extra chemicals on the things I order in the mail. Even in a society where they can tell the way I say things and what I'm talking about makes it so you're an idiot if you don't know that I'm telling the truth. This is a society where ghetto women beat women up for wearing the same dress. This is a society where valley girls spend hours at the mall to make sure they look better than other people. Where people have eugenic-based arguments they're trying to prove. Where the IQ test has been proven definitively a joke, and IQ backwards is key, and people are trying to make whites, Jews, and Asians seem more intelligent than blacks. This is that society. Whether it was Hitler putting Jews in camps and saying they have this particular form of cunning, this form of intelligence, this intellect that they've been using against the German people. Or it is the Jews saying that whites are smart and dangerous and we have to keep them in check in their kind of Jew-white paradigm. Or it is Asians being given credit for being smart, for being hardworking and having a certain physiology and brain function, if you will, that is more suited for Western forms of education and the accompanying intellectual activities. Another way to look at it is because of how delusional and complex driven people are, I am the last person that knows how to make love that is left. The last guy who could make love. It goes back to Eros and Venus and Aphrodite and Hermaphroditus. These transgender guys didn't come from the moon or something, literally, right? They came from Western culture, the foundation, the Greek societies and college, for instance. You can't separate the two. Hermaphrodites, the word even comes from hermaphroditus, This is an idea that's been here for a long time. And it's absolutely connected to the trannies and so on. And the recent Miss Universe challenge where Miss Spain was a transvestite. You know, in America, for example, there's only supposed to be 2 to 5% of people are supposed to be lesbian or gay, I believe. Okay, so how could a transvestite win this thing if they don't have a disproportionate amount of control over things, and if it isn't part of the culture in general, right? There's a cultural reason why they have that much control, this inordinate degree of control. So when we look at breeding and going against the grain, okay, the point of a weapon, the point of life, the point of reference, point sparring, okay, the different forms, life forms, formidable, formula, right, deformity. I went over these forms in other videos, right? All the form words prove my point. Conform, perform, performance, formulation, uniform, articles of clothing. What are they telling you? Why do you think they're spraying my clothing, right, and my shoes, right? Shoe is even a deity in Egypt. Shoe, show, shy. It makes you more shy when you wear worn out hoodies all the time. When you don't have shoes that are your color. I can't find a single all yellow shoe that is comparable to Cortez or something, which fits my martial art movements. Okay? This is the closest thing. And this is puma, and it's sprayed. And a puma is a more effeminate animal, like a cheetah, than a leopard is. And that is not a coincidence. And there's a long story with wordplay and everything that proves my point to a T. The mysteries and mythologies are for idiots. They are for idiots. They are for the idiots who drug me until my speech patterns change. I do not sound serious like I want to sound because they have drugged me to the point where I have eye problems. Okay? They have messed up the parts of my brain. They have to do with movement. So my movements are reduced. Motor movement. Okay? Including the fine muscles that move the jaw and the body that's involved in speech. Okay? That's part of why I'm having trouble speaking and why I've taken on this kind of scarecrow shape instead of this inform shape that comes with my mentality. By default, the way I think causes me to take form. You can imagine moving with focused intensity, righteous indignation, and a focus on morality and injustice. And doing my martial art moves take on new meaning. What do you mean? What I mean is apparent. You know why they're parents. If your dad is a very serious guy that was overprotective and kept you in the middle of nowhere all your life and taught you focused morality, it is laughable to think that some mainstream American conformist would have a chance. Or someone who retreated to a Buddhist temple, with all due respect, I do have a certain respect for them, would have a chance. This person has been trained to be calm. Hi guys, I'm calm. They haven't true focus, intensity. And when it comes to combat, when it is time for combat, I have the focused intensity. I have the spirit. They don't. They're in the energy of retreating. That's why it's called a Buddhist retreat. We can throw out every mainstream American martial arts, that's like 99% of these people, and we can throw out the Buddhist guys. They don't have a chance. Heroes means master, not monk, not man of peace, not man of avoidance and non-attachment, but hero who is attached to the idea of conquering evil. They can achieve that state where God is all that matters and addressing the enemy. They can't achieve it. They have never cultivated. They don't have a chance. Who are their parents? That's why it's called apparent. This is obvious. Obvious starts with Obi. Igbo backwards is Obi. Obi in Igbo means king, temple, and hut. Not the black belt. The belt is Kura Obi in the Japanese karate system. Again, I have a certain respect for them. But the word itself proves my point. Black belt. I mean, you can't make this shit up. It is apparent. A parent. Who are my parents? 2 doctors. One a black Nigerian Afro-Igbo brain surgeon. Who's 6'4", about, built like, he weighs about 250, okay? And even in his old age, he's still doing brain surgery. About to retire. You can't make this shit up. It is apparent. It is obvious. Obi Vi. Oh, us. The man Obi is going to emerge and vie with these people, and it is apparent who he is by his parents. With all due respect, he's not the common guy in the ghetto whose parents don't insist on righteous indignation in a form that creates transferable skills for martial arts. So then when we have Lady Vader, we have all the martial art images. Just type in Star Wars and martial arts, search, you're going to see the weapons. And I've said this before they posted these pictures, mind you, that I connected martial arts to Star Wars. Everyone was silent. For the same reason I'm right about that, I'm right about the name Skywalker. It refers to Horus. And I still have the old Horus things, which aren't my color, mind you. This is their colors. They're concerned with the gold, right? The red, green for fertility, and dark blue, for a darker atmosphere. Black for covering up the truth. Notice it's over the body, right? Black belt. It's right there in the word. Sash, right? Says. Says who? Says the corporate big three races, with all due respect? Says the house nigga scientist, with all due respect? Says a gangbanger from the hood who never turned to God, with all due respect? Says some boxer who doesn't think outside the box. Says who? Says the Ebo brain surgeon who is not an Ebert Urkel's son. Ra's son, Haru the hero, with $4,000 challenge for 4 years, up to $100,000 at one point. With 4,000 to 5,000 videos on the internet, like, hello, you're an idiot if you pretend you never heard of me. What do you study? How to be a bitch? Or do you study martial arts? If you study martial arts and you're serious, you should have heard of me. That excuse goes out the fucking window. Shut the fuck up if that's your excuse. This is not Kansas, motherfucker. This is California. So shut the fuck up if that's your excuse. You have no excuse. Then when you add the degree of persecution, my gosh, you have no excuse. Representatives from all of your martial arts have made themselves clear that they have thrown in the towel and conceded my point. Your elders, your masters have conceded my fucking point. You have no excuse. It is apparent. It is obvious. And your scale, with all due respect, is for women, not for Pharaoh. I think I've made my point to my satisfaction. See my key reasons why I'm the top martial arts playlist, if you're still not convinced. See my core disagreements with them. If you want to define love in terms of erotic sexual desire and mainstream crony capitalist corrupt Western culture, you are a bitch. You may as well bend over with their high-heeled prostitute sluts with a goofy, unfocused look on your face, drinking some fucking fine wine that may as well be the blood of the saints, because you are a bitch. I am not their slave. You are. No servant can be greater. Your masters are aware of me, and they have conceded that I am the top. Their demonic energy is bitch shit. That in the spiritual realm, the only realm that matters, I have stopped. Some people might be dumb enough to ask, why are you so mad? Maybe he has a mental disorder or something. Recently in the news, Miley Cyrus was said to have gone on stage without a top or something. Twitter goes wild. Everyone goes wild. A martial artist is beyond a sex symbol. He is the ideal man. Look at Van Damme, look at the movies. I don't think I have to explain that anymore. The ideal man is not a geek. He is a martial artist. The ideal sex symbol, if you will, love symbol, making love, is a martial artist. Look at the anime festivals. Look at Lady Vader. Look at the different martial art babes, if you will. And look at how they cheated me out of money and the admiration of potential wives. And they've bred women that are too inferior spiritually to transcend the corporate paradigm and psychological construct to date me, right? Consider who I am. It is apparent.